Welcome to the 215th birthday celebration for Edgar Allan Poe, presented by Markiewitz Audioworks. This is your host, Jason Markiewicz. Over the past few years, we have endeavored to take some of Poe's best works and present them in full-cast audio dramatizations, using theatrically trained actors, sound effects, and original scoring to bring each to life. It was also our mission to present them through a different lens, with new story items, some new characters, and original dialogue so the listener will leave with a fresh take on the classic tales. Tonight you will hear two of these audio dramas, beginning with the 2023 Saturday Visitor Award nominated The Cask of Amontillado, and finishing with our most recent production, The Tell-Tale Heart. Between these two will be a beautiful and heart-wrenching rendition of the classic poem Annabel Lee. Now, I hope you have your glass filled. I don't yet have mine filled. Please forgive me while I take care of some business here momentarily. Okay. There we go. All right, now we're ready to continue. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with us tonight as we present this trio of tales for your listening enjoyment. I hope you will stay with us at the end as we will lift our glasses in a toast to our benefactor on this 215th anniversary of his birth. So, let us begin with our first story, The Cask of Amontillado.
Thank you for coming so quickly, Father. He's expecting you.
Signore Montresor, I received a message that your health is failing and that you wanted to see a priest. Can I get you a glass of water?
I'm dying, Father. Water will not wash away that which comes for me. Come, sit next to me by the fire.
Shall I call the doctor?
To this end, it is not a doctor that I require, Father. I have searched my soul and confronted the demons that reside within me. I have lived a good life. I have been a pillar of the community. I have helped the poor and fed the hungry.
Indeed, Signore Montresor, you have been most generous. You are a kind and a good man.
Let me finish, please, Father. I fear I shall never again leave this villa. And while I did not comprehend back then, being so entrapped by revenge and hatred, I must now seek penance for the wrong I have done before it is too late.
This is most unusual, Signore. You have taken me quite off guard. You are certain this is...
Quite certain, Father. And I am somewhat embarrassed, as it has been so long since I last confessed. I have forgotten what to do. Will you help me?
Yes, my son, of course. First, make the sign of the cross. Good. Then say, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yes, I remember now. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been some 50 years since my last confession.
Say the sins you remember.
Many years ago, I killed a man.
You Signore, surely not.
Alas, Father, it is true. His name was Fortunato, and at one time I considered him a friend. But whether consciously or unconsciously, he began to hurt me. My business, my fortunes, my reputation. In fact, the 1,000 injuries of Fortunato I had borne as best I could, but when he ventured upon insult, I vowed revenge. Those who so well knew the nature of my soul would not suppose, however, that I gave utterance to a threat. At length, though, I would be avenged. This was a point definitively settled, but the very definitiveness with which it was resolved precluded the idea of risk. I must not only punish, but punish with impunity. A wrong is unredressed when retribution overtakes its redresser. It is equally unredressed when the avenger fails to make himself felt as such to him who has done the wrong. It must be understood that neither by word nor by deed had I given Fortunato cause to doubt my goodwill. I continued, as was my wont, to smile in his face, and he did not perceive that my smile now was at the thought of his immolation. He had a weak point, this Fortunato, and although in other regards he was a man to be respected and even feared, he prided himself on his connoisseurship of wine. Few Italians have the true virtuoso spirit. For the most part, their enthusiasm is adopted to suit the time and opportunity, to practice imposture upon the British and Austrian millionaires. In painting and gemmery, Fortunato, like his countrymen, was a quack. But in the matter of old wines, he was sincere. In this respect, I did not differ from him materially. I was skillful in the Italian vintages myself, and bought largely whenever I could. It was the night of Carnival. I knew he would be consumed in himself, whether by reputation or by drink, and that this night may prove to be the perfect setting for my revenge. I was just about to leave when I came upon my attendants discussing something in the foyer.
You ask him.
You're so eager, you ask him.
Sir, begging your pardon, sir, but as it is late in the afternoon and our work is finished, and we were wondering, well, that is to say that we were hoping, or that is to say that we would appreciate it, sir,
Oh, for the love of God, get on with it. What do you want?
Well, sir, we were hoping that
We were hoping
could...
to make merry, sir. At Carnival, sir.
Carnival? Oh, yes, it is that time, isn't it? Well, this house will not run itself, now will it? And as I must depart for a previous engagement, and should not be returning until the morning, it would be highly improper for you to also leave, thereby rendering the premises vacant, don't you think? No. My answer is no.
But sir, it's only
Not
that...
another word. You are not to stir from this house. As I said before, I am to take my leave for a previous engagement and will not return until the morning.
Yes, sir. I don't want to speak out of place, sir, but may I ask who has drawn you to such an engagement in such a state?
What? No, you may not. This is my business to attend. Good evening.
Will you be seeing Mr. Fortunato, sir?
Why do you say that? Why would I be seeing Mr. Fortunato on a night like this?
No reason, sir. Just haven't seen him around for some time, sir. He's a gentleman, he is.
Be still. Good night, sir.
Yes, a gentleman. Right. I must be getting along now, as it is becoming quite late. Good evening.
What do we do now?
We make merry.
But you heard the master. We are not to stir.
Yes, I heard the master. He will not return until the morning. Get your coat, and don't forget your mask. 'Tis Carnival.
Fortunato, a gentleman, she says. Ha! What does she know? Petulant attendant girl, gentleman, indeed. How little she knows of Fortunato. How little she knows of that shameless and boastful wretch who...
Signore! Ciao! Oh, it is so good to see you, my friend!
Aha, my dear Fortunato. You are luckily met, and quite a sight to behold. A striped party dress, and what is that jingling cap upon your head? Oh, how remarkably well you are looking today.
Oh, as are you, my good man. I beg your pardon. I am not myself. Now, I see you are not dressed for Carnival. What brings you out on this night?
You are correct, my friend. I am most distressed. I have received a pipe of what passes for Amontillado, and, well, I have my doubts.
How? Amontillado? A pipe? Impossible! And in the middle of Carnival!
Alas, it is true, but as I said, I have my doubts, and I was silly enough to pay the full Amontillado price without consulting you in the matter. You were not to be found. I was fearful of losing a bargain.
Amontillado!
I have my doubts,
Amontillado!
and I must satisfy them.
Amontillado!
As you are engaged, I am on my way to Lucchese. If anyone has a critical turn, it is he. He will tell me how...
Lucchese cannot tell Amontillado from sherry!
And yet some fools will have it that his taste is a match for your own.
No, come, let us go.
Whither?
Why to your vaults?
My friend, no. I will not impose upon your good nature. I perceive you have an engagement. Lucchese will do...
I have no engagement. Come.
My friend, no. It is not the engagement, but the severe cold with which I perceive you are afflicted. The vaults are insufferably damp. They are encrusted with nitre.
Oh, let us go, nevertheless. The cold is merely nothing. Amontillado! You have been imposed upon. And, well, as for Lucchese, he cannot distinguish sherry from Amontillado. Draw your cloak, my friend, to your palazzo.
What are you doing?
Where is that voluptuous young thing who regularly attends this villa? Oh, I should like to see
I should
her.
think that she is making quite merry by now, that her accomplice is nearly passed out in some obscure alleyway. Indeed, I had not expected to be back so soon from Lucchese.
Well, come, my good man, the Amontillado.
I had the Amontillado placed in the cellar. Are you sure you are well enough
Yes.
to...
Very well, thank you. I'll open the door. Take those 2 flambeaux from the sconces on the wall over there and hand me one.
I will lead. Stay behind me, but watch your step. The stairs may be damp toward the bottom, and I would hate for you to lose your footing. And we made it.
The pipe.
It is farther on, but observe the white webwork which gleams from these cavern walls.
Nitre?
Indeed. How long have you had that cough?
It is nothing. Nothing. We must continue. The Amontillado!
Come, we will go back. Your health is precious. You are rich, respected, admired, beloved. You are happy, as once I was. You are a man to be missed. For me, it is no matter. We will go back. You will be ill, and I cannot be responsible. Besides, there is Lucchese.
Oh, enough, enough! The cough is a mere nothing. It will not kill me. I shall not die of a cough.
True, true. And indeed, I had no intention of alarming you unnecessarily. But you should use all proper caution. A moment. Yes, there it is. A draught of this Medoc will defend us from the damps. Drink.
Very well. I drink to the buried that repose around us.
And I to your long life. Here, take my arm. Let us proceed.
These vaults are extensive.
Oh, the Montresors were a great and numerous family.
Yes, I forget your arms.
A huge human foot d'or in a field azure. The foot crushes a serpent rampant whose fangs are embedded in the heel.
And the motto?
Nemo me impune lacessit.
No one attacks me with impunity.
Yes.
Good. A strong motto indeed. Oh, these catacombs are extensive, with deep recesses. Are all of these recesses filled with bones?
Oh, not all. Casks and puncheons are intermingled as well. You are not sounding well, my friend. Let me take your arm as we continue.
Oh, it is nothing, I assure you.
Well, the nitre. You see how it increases. It hangs like moss upon the vaults. We are now below the river's bed. The drops of moisture trickle among the bones. Come, we will go back ere it is too late. Your cough is...
Oh, it is nothing. Let us go on. But first, another draught of the Medoc.
Well, let's see. Yes, a flagon de grave. Perfect. Yes, here we are. And me without a corkscrew. Well, here you are. Careful, though, don't cut yourself. I did the best that I could.
Oh, not a moment too soon.
What is this, my friend? You are in quite a state.
Oh, you do not comprehend?
Not I.
Oh, then you are not of the Brotherhood.
How?
You are not of the Masons.
Yes, of course, yes.
You? Impossible. A Mason.
A Mason.
Oh, very well then. A sign.
It is this here, hidden beneath my roquelaire.
A trowel. That is your sign. A mere trowel? You jest. But let us proceed to the Amontillado.
Be it so. Now take my arm. Oh, not quite so tightly. But the caverns are difficult to navigate in the low light, are they not?
Oh, quite. Yes, quite difficult amidst the low arches and the slope. Yes, it is quite a descent as well, is it not?
Yes, we are descending below the city and below the river, as I've mentioned before. You will also notice that the air is more foul in the depths.
Oh, yes, even the flambeau is wont to glow rather than to flame.
It is true. You must hold on to my roquelaire. We are almost to the remote end of the cavern. Yes, only a few more steps. At long last we have arrived.
This? Are you certain?
Yes, quite certain.
Why, it looks like nothing more than a crypt, with human remains stacked as high as the interior ceiling.
Indeed, my good man. The crypt is ornamented on 3 sides with skeletons and random bones, reminiscent of the great catacombs of Paris. It is imperative that the Amontillado remains cool, and a crypt of this nature is ideal. Proceed. Herein is the Amontillado. And as for Lucchese...
No, Lucchese is an ignoramus. Besides, I wish to continue inspecting these catacombs. The light is low, and my vision is not what it was. Yes, these remains are old, ancient, in fact. How long did you say they've been down here?
What? Oh, how does that matter?
The walls have held these skeletons through time, but this one here seems not to be so lucky. Why, his bones are simply a pile scattered on a mound of earth. And what is this dark recess?
Describe it for me.
Oh, it looks to be about 4 feet by 3, and in height 6 or 7. Just large enough to at one time entomb that poor wretch. Hey!
Pass your hand over the wall. You cannot help feeling the nitre. Indeed, it is very damp. Oh, once more, let me implore you to return. No? Oh, then I must positively leave you. But I must first render you all the little attentions in my power.
The Amontillado!
Oh, true. The Amontillado.
What are you doing?
I am merely laying down brick and mortar. I am a mason, after all.
Come now! Release me from these chains and I will help you. Oh, come now, Montresor! Montresor! Montresor!
Oh, stop that infernal racket! You have no idea the pain you have caused me, the injuries and insults you have made against me. Let me look at you once more in this dwindling light with rays as feeble as that pathetic figure within. Oh, what do you mean by screaming so? Shut up! Shut up! Yes, I can hear you. Oh, it is near midnight now. My task is nearly complete. I will be taking my leave of you soon. But before I slide this final brick into place, I want to...
A very good joke indeed. An excellent jest. Oh, we will have many a rich laugh about it at the Palazzo. Over our wine.
The Amontillado.
Yes, the Amontillado. Oh, but is it not getting late? Will not they be awaiting us at the Palazzo? Oh, the Lady Fortunato and the rest. Oh, let us be gone.
Yes, let us be gone.
For the love of God, Montresor! For the love of God!
For the love of God. Have you nothing to say? No quip, no joke, no smart reply? Fortunato? Fortunato!
As I put that last stone into its position and plastered it up, I could swear I heard the sound of bells jingling from beyond. My heart grew sick, and I hastened to make an end of my labor. I re-erected the old rampart of bones against the new masonry, placed the trowel among the mortar, and noticed the stillness and the silence of the catacombs. I remember there was no sound, and not just the absence of sound, but the absence of life itself. Only faint drops of water falling from the roof broke the quiet. Not a cough, not a breath, not a jingle, nothing. My heart was beating so furiously in my breast, whether due to dampness of the catacombs or the deed which was now done, that I moved quickly and with purpose back to my palazzo. I stood there, peering down the winding staircase toward the crypt where I had so recently left my friend, and without a second thought, I closed the door. For the half-century since, no mortal has disturbed him. In pace requiescat, Fortunato.
Signore Montresor. May the good Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be graceful to you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Rest in peace, my son. Rest in peace.
Well, I certainly hope Fortunato didn't have other plans that night. As you can tell, we modified the tale a little bit to give a unique look as to why Montresor may have recounted the story of his crime some 50 years after the deed was done. We also wanted to give a little extra life to Montresor's attendants, who received very little time in the original story, but were so necessary to be gone when Fortunato was brought back to the villa. This was also the first story where Hayden Folker originally scored the music, and he did a magnificent job. So, before we get to our second feature presentation, we want to debut our adaptation of the classic poem, Annabel Lee. This poem is so beautiful and has always touched those who have heard it performed, as it did me when I heard it orated outside the actual Annabel Lee Tavern in Baltimore in 2023. I hope you enjoy the short but beautifully dramatized version of Edgar Allan Poe's Annabel Lee.
It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden lived there whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child, and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many, far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and so o'er the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea.
Such a beautiful poem, and the seascape effects with the musical score behind it really enhanced the story. I hope you felt the same way. Now, for our finale this evening, we bring you our newest dramatization, The Tell-Tale Heart. As we crafted the script for this production, we took some liberties on character names and situations. Where the unnamed narrator in the original work is captured in the house, we framed the story in a different way to build some tension and create other scenes for the narration to be told. By the way, do you have your glasses charged yet? If not, I do hope you hurry back, because we're about to embark on a descent into madness with our dramatization of The Tell-Tale Heart.
The storm is getting worse outside.
Oh, get away from me, woman. Leave me alone.
I don't recognize you. I haven't seen you around here before. You smell like money.
Oh, I don't have any money. Go away.
I don't have any money either, but you don't smell like me. Why are you here?
Oh, I said go away. Why are you talking to me? Leave me alone.
All right. You're so nervous. You're running from something. Or someone, aren't you? You did something unspeakable, didn't you?
Unspeakable.
You're mad.
Mad, you say? Well, I admit I was dreadfully nervous, and in truth I still am. But why will you say that I am mad? My senses are sharp. Oh, I could smell you from across this barn. My hearing acute. I can hear all things in heaven, on earth, and indeed, even in hell. With these powers, tell me, how then am I mad? Oh, never mind. You want to know what brings me here? You go around that way. Shh. I'll take over here. They mustn't find me here. They're gone.
But, first, have you anything to eat? Or drink? Oh, I'm so very thirsty.
Are you mad?
Oh, stop calling me that!
Look around you. You tell me your story, and I'll ask around. Fair enough? Old Tim may have a drop or two in his flask?
Fine. Yes. Oh, you say you think me mad. Oh, but you will see how calmly and healthily I recount this story. Then, you may determine for yourself if I am mad. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. I did not object to him. I did not hate him. I did not desire his gold or his fortune. And he had always been kind to me. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was that pale blue eye with a film that covered it like a fog over the harbor. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. It was the eye of a vulture, and it tore the flesh from my bones with its unblinking stare. And so, by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now, this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded. With what caution, with what foresight, with what dissimulation I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. For 7 long nights, every night, around midnight, I turned the latch of the door to the old man's room and opened it, so gently. And then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a dark lantern, all closed so that no light shone out. And then I thrust in my head. You would have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my whole head within the opening so far that I could see him as he lay upon his bed. Ha! Would a madman have been so wise as this? And then, when my head was well within the room, I undid the lantern cautiously. So cautiously. Cautiously, for the hinges creaked. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the vulture eye. But I found the eye was always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work, for it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. Then I slowly retreated from the darkness of the chamber and closed the door.
Good morning, Mr. Graves. How are you feeling today? I have brought you your breakfast and a cup of tea, 2 sugars, exactly as you requested. Did you pass the night well?
Indeed I did, my boy. But I think I've had a sly visitor over the past few nights.
A visitor? I haven't seen anyone.
Yes, every night about midnight I am awakened by, well, I'm not sure what. A mouse or something. It squeaks once, and then it's gone. Well, I am just a foolish old man.
Oh, not at all. I will keep an eye out for this minuscule night crawler. You have my word. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. Never before that night had I felt the extent of my own powers, of my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. To think that there I was, opening the door little by little, and he not even to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea, and perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bed suddenly, as if startled. Now, you may think that I drew back, but no. His room was as black as pitch, with the thick darkness, for the shutters were close-fastened through fear of robbers, and so I knew that he could not see the opening of the door, and I kept pushing it open steadily. Steadily. I had my head in and was about to open the lantern when my thumb slipped upon the tin fastening and the old man sprang up in the bed.
Who's there? Hello? Edward, is that you? Why do you not speak? What do you want? Who's there? It is nothing but the wind in the chimney. It is only a mouse crossing the floor, or a cricket which has made a single chirp. Yes.
I kept quiet, still, and said nothing. For a whole hour I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime I did not hear him lie down. He was still sitting up in the bed listening, just as I have done night after night, hearkening to the death watches in the wall.
Why do you taunt me so? The room is so black I cannot see you. Leave me be. Leave me be.
Then I heard a slight groan, and I knew it was the groan of mortal terror.
Oh!
It was not a groan of pain or of grief. Oh, no. It was the low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when overcharged with awe. I knew the sound well. Many a night, just at midnight, when all the world slept, it has welled up from my own bosom, deepening with its dreadful echo the terrors that distracted me. I say I knew it well. I knew what the old man felt, and pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. I knew that he had been lying awake ever since the first slight noise when he had turned in the bed. His fears had been ever since growing upon him. He had been trying to fancy them causeless, but could not. Oh, yes, he has been trying to comfort himself with these suppositions, but he had found all in vain, because death, in approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence of the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head within the room. When I had waited a very long time, very patiently, without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very, very little crevice in the lantern. So I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily, until at length a single dim ray, like the thread of the spider, shot from out the crevice and fell upon the vulture eye. Oh, it was open, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it with perfect distinctness, all a dull blue, with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow in my bones. But I could see nothing else of the old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray, as if by instinct, precisely upon the damned spot. Now, I say, there came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well, too. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury as the beating of a drum stimulates the soldier into courage. But even yet I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless. I tried how steadily I could maintain the ray upon the eye. Meantime, the hellish tattoo of the heart increased. It grew quicker and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder, I say louder every moment. Do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous, so I am. And now, at the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of that old house, so strange a noise as this excited me to uncontrollable terror. Yet, for some minutes longer I refrained and stood still, but the beating grew louder. I thought the heart must burst, and now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw open the lantern and leaped into the room. He shrieked once only. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes the heart beat on with a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length, it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eye would trouble me no more. I then undertook the wise precaution of concealment of the old man's body. The night waned, and I worked hastily, but in silence. First, I dragged the body across the floor, hefting it into a large porcelain tub, and with calculated haste, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the feet, and the hands, and the legs, and the arms, and then I cut off his head. I then took up 3 planks from the flooring of the chamber and deposited each body part between the scantlings with surgical precision. I then replaced the boards so cleverly, so cleanly, so cunningly that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatever. I had been too wary for that. The tub had caught it all. When I had made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock in the morning, still dark as midnight. As the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? Good early morning to you, officers. Is there a problem?
We apologize for the disturbance, sir. I'm Sergeant O'Toole. This is Officer Kent and Officer Wallace. This is the Graves residence.
Why, yes, it is.
Well, it's a bit wet out here, sir. Might we come in?
Oh, yes, of course. Where are my manners? Please, please.
Thank you.
May I ask what brings you here on a night such as this?
Well, sir, we received a report at the station about an hour ago of a loud shriek coming from this house and are in need of searching the premises to rule out any foul play.
A shriek, you say? Oh, yes, I remember now. Oh, I had a terrible dream, and it startled me to the bone. I must have called out louder than I thought. I assure you, all is well, though I do appreciate your concern at this hour.
Yes, quite. And who are you, sir?
My apologies. Edward Valentine. Mr. Graves was kind enough to rent me a room a few months ago in exchange for doing odd chores around the place. Maintenance, gardening, and such. Oh, he was a kind man.
Was?
Is a kind man.
Right. Well, Mr. Valentine, is Mr. Graves at home?
Edward, please. And no, he is absent the country and won't be returning until the 1st of next month.
I see. Well, may we look around now?
Yes, of course. My apologies. I bid you search and search well. Set your minds at ease that all is as it should be here. Allow me to show you around the premises.
Oh.
Herein is the study, the sitting room, the kitchen, the dining room.
Might you take us to Mr. Graves' chamber? I should like to inspect it as well.
Of course.
We'll have a look around, make sure all is as it should be.
You go that way, Wallace. I'll start over here.
All right. And these are his only valuables, left right here in this box.
That's right, Sergeant. He is a very trusting man. You will notice all are undisturbed.
Yes, quite.
You gentlemen look fatigued. Allow me to bring in some chairs so we may continue to discuss this investigation.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Mr. Valentine. Thank you.
Not at all.
Thank you, sir.
I placed the chairs in an arc around the room and placed my own seat upon the very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. After a few minutes, and with my cooperation, the officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. They sat, and while I answered cheerily, they chatted of familiar things. But ere long, I felt myself getting pale and wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied a ringing in my ears, but still they sat and still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. It continued and became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued and gained definitiveness, until, at length, I found that the noise was not within my ears. No doubt I now grew very pale, but I talked more fluently and with a heightened voice, yet the sound increased, and what could I do? It was a low, dull, quick sound, much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. Oh, I gasped for breath, and yet the officers heard it not. I talked more quickly, more vehemently, but the noise steadily increased. I arose and argued about trifles in a high key and with violent gesticulations, but the noise steadily increased. Why would they not be gone? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides, as if excited to fury by the observations of the men. But the noise steadily increased. Oh, God, what could I do? I foamed, I raved, I swore. I swung the chair upon which I had been sitting and grated it upon the boards, but the noise arose over all and continually increased. Oh, it grew louder, 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 and still the men chatted pleasantly and smiled. Oh, was it possible they heard not? Almighty God, no, no! They heard, they suspected, they knew. They were making a mockery of my horror. This I thought, and this I think. But anything was better than this agony. Anything was more tolerable than this derision. I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I must scream or die. And now, again, hark! Louder! 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 Ah!
Mr. Valentine, Mr. Valentine, you are in quite a state. Are you well?
Villains! Dissemble no more. I admit the deed.
Wait, what are you saying?
Tear up the planks. I admit it. I lied. He is not absent the country. He is here. Oh, I had to. I had no choice. Just make it stop. The beating of his hideous heart.
Kent, tear up those boards.
Right you are, Sergeant.
Mr. Valentine,
Wallace, go get the
you are under arrest. Hands behind your back.
Don't you hear it? How can you not hear it?
Hear what, Mr. Valentine?
Oh, it beats as a drum against my ears. That terrible beating. Ah! Oh, it torments me so. Oh, I cannot take it any longer. I must...
No, stop. No, stop where you are, Mr. Valentine. Mr. Valentine, after him, men. Come on.
Well, that's my story. Now, will you get me that drink?
Right you are. Stay right there.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
You need this more than old Tim, I reckon.
After all that you've heard, do you still think me mad?
More than ever, I'd say. But it's none of my business.
Sergeant, we got something.
They'll find you, you know.
Perhaps.
The sun is coming up.
Oh, so it is. Oh, I'm so tired. It's funny, don't you think? I really was quite fond of that old man. Now let me alone. I must rest my eyes for a minute.
You go around that way. I'll check the barn. I'll take over here.
And as I closed my eyes, I could hear Sergeant O'Toole and his men surrounding the barn, amidst a faint beating of that horrible heart.
Wow, those heartbeats at the end are still thumping in my ears. And for some reason, my floorboards are in disarray. Well, never mind. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed our trio of tales in honor of Edgar Allan Poe's 215th birthday. On January 19, 1809, Edgar Poe was born to two actors, David Poe Jr. and Eliza Poe. His father left and his mother died of tuberculosis before he was even 2 years of age. He was taken in by the Allan family and later developed into the father of mysteries, detective stories, science fiction, and of course, horror that we all know today. He wrote poetry and prose, dozens of short stories, and only one novel, but his works are loved by audiences around the world more than 170 years after his death. For the past 6 years, the anniversary of his death has been the hallmark of the chosen weekend for the International Edgar Allan Poe Festival and Awards in Baltimore, Maryland. This year, we were honored to be one of 10 nominees in the Adaptations category for the coveted Saturday Visitor Awards. While we didn't win, as an independent audio drama production company, the international recognition was tremendous and really highlighted the fact that we're producing great work. And we can't wait for our 2024 submission. Now, let us conclude tonight's festivities with a toast. Please join me. To Edgar Allan Poe, happy 215th birthday, and may your legacy live on forevermore. Thank you all for attending this evening. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook at Markiewitz Audioworks. On behalf of all of the cast and crew of the Cask of Amontillado, Annabel Lee, and the Tell-Tale Heart, we wish you a pleasant good evening wherever your listening adventures may take you.